In June 2018, as summer arrived in the spring city of Kunming, China, the usually peaceful atmosphere was suddenly shrouded in anxiety and fear. On social media, particularly within faculty and student community groups, a missing person notice spread like wildfire. The post came from Zhao Chao, a male teacher working at Yunan Arts University. In a state of panic and desperation, he announced that his fiancée, Zhang Yuqin, had mysteriously vanished from the university campus. Zhang Yuqin was born in 1993 in Chenzhou City, Hunan Province. Her childhood was far from complete. When Yuqin was just 2 years old, her parents' marriage fell apart due to irreconcilable differences. After the divorce, custody was granted to her mother, and from then on, her father's presence virtually disappeared from her young memory. Throughout her childhood, Yuqin grew up without a complete family, with only her mother's quiet but unwavering protection. Shortly afterward, mother and daughter left their hometown and moved to Yueyang City. Life in this unfamiliar place was never easy, with the two relying solely on each other for support. By high school, Yuqin had blossomed into a striking beauty. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall with a near-perfect figure and a cheerful personality, she became the school beauty queen. She was not only beautiful but also well-behaved and considerate. Knowing how hard her mother worked, Yuqin never demanded material things. Though her academic performance wasn't exceptional, her outstanding appearance and performance talent led teachers to recommend she pursue an arts degree. Yuqin applied to Yunan Arts University and was accepted. Away from home, she frequently called or texted her mother to let her know she was safe, using her free time to work part-time rather than travel like her classmates. Graduating with excellent grades, Yuqin was assigned to the Mingzhu Children's Art Troupe of Yunnan Province and gradually became its backbone. During one performance, a producer noticed her and introduced her to a film that urgently needed a female lead. The director chose her immediately, opening the door to the entertainment industry. Although her career hadn't yet exploded, Yuqin steadily progressed. Even in the glamorous entertainment world, she still prioritized marriage above all else. With her striking appearance and gentle demeanor, Yuqin was naturally always the center of attention, never lacking admirers. However, when it came to romance, Yuqin was extremely devoted and cautious. She had hardly paid attention to anyone else because her heart already belonged to someone she trusted and understood completely, Zhao Chao. Zhao Chao was Yuqin's senior at the same university, studying the same major. The two met during their college years. From their very first encounter, Zhao Chao was captivated by Yuqin and fell in love with her. However, Yuqin didn't rush to reciprocate. At that time, what mattered most to her was her studies and future career. She simply wanted to focus on completing her degree and finding stable work after graduation to support herself and repay her mother's sacrifices. For this reason, the relationship between Yuqin and Zhao Chao didn't ignite quickly like other college romances. Instead, it progressed slowly, cautiously, and rationally. Only after both had graduated did their feelings truly blossom into a serious relationship. This senior was not only talented, but also famously persistent. Throughout his pursuit of Yuqin, Zhao Chao never grew discouraged or gave up halfway. He chose a gradual but steadfast approach, quietly staying by her side, caring for her in the smallest details of daily life. From academics and daily routines to moments when Yuqin felt tired or stressed, Zhao Chao always appeared at the right time, gently caring for and protecting her with patience and attentiveness. It was this meticulous care, sustained over many years, that gradually melted Yuqin's rational and guarded heart. She once confided to her best friend that from childhood to adulthood, no male friend had ever treated her with such dedication and persistence. It wasn't flashy promises or showy gestures, but rather Zhao Chao's stable, long-term, and sincere presence that made her feel safe and cherished. After graduating from university, Zhao Chao was the first to join the Mingzhu Children's Art Troupe of Yunnan Province. This was precisely why Yuqin, upon completing her studies, unhesitatingly chose to join the same troupe. For her, it wasn't just a suitable artistic environment, it was where the person she trusted and wanted to walk alongside for the long haul was. In early 2018, Zhao Chao quietly prepared for the most important moment of his life. He devoted considerable time and effort to planning a perfect and romantic proposal ceremony. With the discreet help of a group of close friends, every detail was carefully arranged. Overwhelmed with happiness, Yuqin smiled and nodded, officially agreeing to spend the rest of her life with Zhao Chao. After that moment, the couple quickly entered the wedding preparation phase, busy yet joyful, as if a bright future was right before their eyes. The wedding date was set for August 2018, coinciding with Yuqin's 25th birthday. For her, it would be more than just a wedding. As the big day drew nearer, Yuqin couldn't hide her anticipation. Everything seemed to be opening into a perfect beginning, a new chapter overflowing with hope and happiness. Yet no one could have imagined that right at the threshold of marriage and this promising future, tragedy would silently strike, cruelly snatching away everything that had been awaited. On the evening of June 15th, in a state of extreme panic, Yuqin's fiancé Zhao Chao posted a missing person notice around the campus. In his post, he stated that Yuqin had suddenly lost contact that afternoon, last seen within the Yunan Arts University campus. Her disappearance was so sudden that Zhao Chao was nearly devastated, both worried and anxious, constantly hoping someone had seen Yuqin and could provide a lead. That very evening, the missing person notice spread rapidly across social media. Kunming residents, especially students and faculty in the university district, continuously shared the post, hoping to contribute even a small part to finding the missing young woman. Within a short time, information about Yuqin flooded timelines, becoming the most discussed topic. In the notice, Zhao Chao specifically emphasized that Yuqin had not left due to an argument with her boyfriend or any romantic conflict. This was meant to dispel the negative speculation that typically arises in missing person cases, while affirming that Yuqin's disappearance was completely abnormal. The physical description was also very detailed. Before her disappearance, Yuqin had shoulder-length hair, wore a long black sweater, a short black skirt, and burgundy flat shoes. The clarity and sincerity of the notice touched many people's hearts. The case quickly attracted widespread attention from concerned netizens, becoming a hot topic in the Chunggong University district of Kunming. An atmosphere of worry enveloped the area, as everyone hoped the young woman would soon be found safe. The Chunggong University district, located in Kunming City, Yunnan Province, covers an area of approximately 16.7 square miles, equivalent to about half of downtown Kunming, and lies roughly 15 miles from the urban center. This is a large-scale university complex where numerous colleges and universities are concentrated, with tens of thousands of students and faculty living and studying daily. Based on students' consumption habits and lifestyle patterns, the area was planned with diverse functional zones. There's a Taobao street covering about 108,000 square feet, 3 themed restaurant districts, a digital plaza of about 86,000 square feet, a fashion street, and numerous other amenities serving student life. During the day, the area bustles with activity. At night, the streets take on an entirely different character, more complex and harder to monitor. Precisely because of its vast scale and extremely diverse population, tracking down a missing person here is exceptionally difficult. In an extremely panicked state, at 6:35 p.m. on June 15th, Zhao Chao had no choice but to call the police for help. According to Zhao Chao's account, on the afternoon of June 15th, 2018, everything initially proceeded normally. As usual, after work, he and his girlfriend drove back to Yunnan Arts University. If anything was different that day, it was that Zhao Chao had a class to teach, so he couldn't stay by his fiancé's side all afternoon. Therefore, Yuqin planned to spend some time on campus by herself. She told Zhao Chao she would go to the hair salon on campus to get her hair washed, taking the opportunity to relax while waiting for her boyfriend to finish teaching. The salon Yuqin mentioned was right within the Yunnan Arts University campus, a place she had frequented before and even had a membership card for. Because of this familiarity, Zhao Chao had absolutely no doubts or concerns and left at ease for his class. Before parting, the couple cheerfully agreed that after Zhao Chao finished teaching, they would have dinner together, then head to the school's rehearsal room to continue practicing as planned. But around 5 p.m., when Zhao Chao finished his class, he waited for a long time without seeing Yuqin appear. An uneasy feeling rose within him. He repeatedly called his girlfriend, but every call went unanswered. No connection at all. His worry quickly turned to panic as Zhao Chao began running all over campus, searching for his girlfriend. After searching for a while without finding any trace of Yuqin, he reassured himself that perhaps her phone had died, so she had gone home first. Thinking this, Zhao Chao hurriedly drove back to their residence. But the home was still empty, with no sign that Yuqin had returned. His unease grew even stronger. With no other options, Zhao Chao turned his car back toward the Yunan Arts University campus, continuing his desperate search. At the same time, he called everyone he could think of, acquaintances, friends, colleagues, hoping someone had seen Yuqin or knew where she was. When he gradually realized the situation might be far more serious than he initially thought, Zhao Chao posted information about his fiancée's disappearance on social media, appealing for help. Immediately afterward, he called Yuqin's mother in distant Hunan province to report that her daughter had suddenly lost contact. Hearing the terrible news from so far away, the mother nearly collapsed and immediately packed her bags, determined to leave for Kunming that night to find her daughter. After 7 p.m., while Zhao Chao was in a state of extreme anxiety, his phone suddenly buzzed. On the screen appeared a text message sent from Yuqin's own phone number. The message said her phone had been dropped and broken, that she needed to take it for repair, told him not to keep trying to call, and reassured him that she would be home around 10 p.m. At first glance, this message seemed to offer a glimmer of hope. But when Zhao Chao shared the content with Yuqin's close friends, their unease didn't diminish. It only became clearer. After calmly analyzing the message, they quickly discovered a series of anomalies. First, Yuqin was from Hunan province, but the wording and tone of this message carried a distinctly Yunnan local flavor, completely unlike her usual way of speaking. Second, throughout their relationship, Yuqin and Zhao Chao almost exclusively communicated through WeChat, rarely using SMS, yet this message suddenly came through a different channel. Third, if the phone was so badly broken that it needed repair, how was she still able to send a text message normally? Moreover, the timing of the message and the content of this reassurance felt forced, as if someone was deliberately trying to calm Zhao Chao down and buy time. The more Yuqin's close friends thought about it, the more chills ran down their spines. They gradually arrived at a terrifying conclusion. It was very possible that at the moment this message was sent, Yuqin was no longer able to communicate on her own, and she might have already met with misfortune. News of Yuqin's disappearance quickly shocked local public opinion and attracted special attention from the Kunming City Public Security Bureau, Chunggong branch. Immediately after receiving the report, Chunggong police activated emergency protocols, mobilizing personnel to conduct a comprehensive investigation while coordinating with the university to examine any relevant leads. The first focus of the investigation was placed on the surveillance camera system within Yunan Arts University. Through extraction and analysis of footage, police determined that Yuqin's last appearance on camera was at 3:44 p.m. on June 15th. In the video, she wore a white t-shirt, a long black coat, and a short black skirt, walking alone past a shop on campus. Her gait was calm, her expression natural, showing no signs of panic, nor any indication of being followed or coerced. 24 hours after Yuqin lost contact, around 6 p.m. on June 16th, the search finally led to an outcome that shocked everyone. Police discovered Yuqin's body in a small stream beside the soccer field at Yunan Arts University, right within the campus where, not long before, she had appeared looking completely normal. The scene was a narrow channel, about 13 to 16 feet wide, nestled between the slope of a large hill and the university's soccer field. The water in the channel wasn't deep, flowing quietly through an area familiar to students and faculty, but at that moment, it became the site of a horrifying tragedy. When discovered, Yuqin was unclothed, lying in the cold water. Her face had been brutally mutilated, making identification nearly impossible. That evening at 8:22 p.m., the official Weibo account of the Chunggong New District Management Committee, Kunming City, issued an urgent notice, publicly releasing the initial investigation results from the police for the first time. According to information from the Chenggong Public Security Branch, after thorough investigation and evidence collection, police identified the owner of a hair salon located within Yunnan Arts University, Huang Mokun, 20 years old, originally from Zundian County, Kunming City, as seriously connected to the case and the prime suspect. That very evening, police arrested Huang Mokun for investigation. In this announcement, the police also specifically emphasized and appealed to the online community to remain calm, not to listen to or spread unverified information, baseless speculation, or unconfirmed rumors circulating on the internet. At the same time, authorities requested that everyone respect the privacy of the victim and her family, avoiding digging into personal details or sharing sensitive images and information that would cause additional harm to those left behind. Police also affirmed that spreading rumors not only disrupts public opinion, but can also negatively impact the investigation, evidence collection, and case resolution, potentially delaying or obstructing the delivery of justice. Through the initial interrogation process, Mukun gave his account of what happened that day. He claimed that when Yuqin came to the hair salon for her usual hair service, a dispute arose between them over a membership card issue. According to him, during the scuffle and loss of control, he accidentally caused injuries leading to Yuqin's death, attempting to portray the incident as an unintended accident stemming from a minor conflict. However, the key details and system of evidence that police collected during their in-depth investigation completely refuted this account. The investigation results showed that Mukun's actions were by no means impulsive or spontaneous. On the contrary, he had prepared and planned in advance, systematically restraining and killing the victim, then carrying out acts of violation in an especially cruel manner. This demonstrated that the case was essentially an intentional homicide, serious and vicious in nature, completely different from the initial reports. Through intensive interrogation, the suspect Mukun finally had to bow his head and confess the entire true sequence of events, with each detail gradually extracted under the pressure of evidence and cross-examination. On the afternoon of June 15, 2018, Yuqin walked into the hair salon on the Yunnan Arts University campus as usual. This had been a familiar place she frequently visited. Not only was she a regular customer, but Yuqin had also made a membership card there, which still had an unused balance. Because of this familiarity, she entered the salon that afternoon without the slightest wariness. What Yuqin didn't know was that just 2 months earlier, the salon had quietly changed ownership. The new owner was Mukun. When Yuqin presented her membership card, Mukun was extremely firm, refusing to honor the remaining balance from the old card, citing that the salon had changed hands and had no connection to previous transactions. Faced with this situation, Yuqin didn't raise her voice or make a scene. With her naturally gentle and measured temperament, she only showed slight displeasure, muttering that this practice made her feel somewhat cheated. Noticing that Yuqin wasn't reacting strongly, Mukun immediately seized the opportunity, skillfully suggesting she get a new membership card. After a brief moment of hesitation, Yuqin was ultimately persuaded. She followed Mukun's suggestion and agreed to register for a new card. The time was around 4 p.m. The entire hair salon was unusually empty. Apart from Mukun, the shop owner, Yuqin was the only customer. However, in the familiar setting of the university campus, Yuqin didn't notice or feel anything concerning about this quietness. Though the salon wasn't large, it was built on 2 floors. Mukun led Yuqin upstairs to the 2nd floor, explaining that she would get her hair washed there first, then come down to the 1st floor for cutting and styling. Hearing this, Yuqin lay down on the shampoo chair without any guard up. Before leaving the room, Mukun acted very naturally, casually saying he would go downstairs to check on her membership card records and grab some necessary tools. At that moment, Yuqin probably simply thought this young owner was a bit hasty, careless in his work, with somewhat poor memory. She had no idea that disaster was silently closing in, step by step, giving her no chance to be on guard. Mukun's real purpose in going downstairs wasn't to check records or get tools, as he had said. He quietly locked the salon door from the inside, completely cutting off any possibility of someone from outside entering. Then he put on rubber gloves to avoid leaving traces and grabbed a towel and a roll of clear tape. When he returned to the second floor, Mukun immediately locked the room door from inside. Without any warning, he lunged at Yuqin with the towel and tape, using one hand to cover her mouth and nose tightly, preventing her from crying for help or breathing normally. Attacked suddenly, Yuqin instinctively struggled, thrashing desperately. But Mukun gave her no chance. He used his other hand to grip her throat tightly, exerting all his strength to restrain her, determined not to let the victim escape. After just a few minutes, brief but brutal, the struggling weakened and then stopped completely. Yuqin's breathing faded away with it. Only when he felt the body beneath him had become completely still did Mukun slowly release his grip. After committing the crime, Mukun appeared extremely calm and cold-blooded. He walked downstairs, removed the "Open for Business" sign hanging in front of the salon, then carefully posted a notice on the glass door saying, "Away for 3 days." This sequence of actions was executed so smoothly and naturally that it didn't raise any suspicion from passers-by or anyone nearby. In others' eyes, it was just a hair salon temporarily closed like any other ordinary shop. According to his confession to police afterward, after locking the salon door from inside, Mukun deliberately created a false scene. He climbed through a window to get back inside the shop, then went straight to the second floor. There, he violated Yuqin's body, a savage, inhuman act that revealed an utterly perverse and cruel nature. Fear of exposure drove Mukun to continue concealing his crime with even more ruthless methods. He took a highly corrosive liquid and poured it on Yuqin's face to destroy her features, deliberately making the victim unidentifiable. Finally, after completing all these horrific acts, Mukun stuffed Yuqin's body into a large burlap sack, then put the sack into a suitcase. Taking advantage of nightfall and the emptiness of the university area, he secretly transported the suitcase out of the campus. Under the cover of darkness that hid all sins, Mukun carried the stolen life and coldly dumped it into a nearby river, hoping the flowing water would wash away all traces and permanently bury the crime he had committed. In his confession, Mukun admitted that his motive for committing the crime stemmed from multiple intertwined factors, all extremely dark and selfish. He said that at that moment, seeing Yuqin, a young, beautiful woman alone, fashionably dressed, strikingly attractive, intensely aroused his perverted desires. His cravings surged violently, transcending all bounds of morality and humanity. But that wasn't all. Mukun also confessed that he was drowning in debt. To take over this hair salon, he had borrowed a very large sum of money. Initially, he genuinely intended to run an honest business, hoping to turn his life around. But reality was completely the opposite. The salon had few customers, business was terrible, and throughout 2 months, there had been virtually no sign of improvement. Creditors kept coming around, pressuring and threatening him, leaving him in a prolonged state of stress and desperation. In these circumstances, Mukun's mental state became increasingly unbalanced. He admitted that he had been standing on the edge of collapse, both fearful and resentful of life. It was in this twisted state of mind that the thought of robbing someone had already taken root in his head, even before he met Yuqin. Mukun told police that the moment he saw Yuqin holding a new iPhone in her hand, his criminal intent was almost fully activated. In his distorted thinking, Yuqin was a target, one that could satisfy his desires while also providing money to solve his immediate difficulties. It was precisely this combination of perverted desires, greed, and debt pressure that pushed Mukun into committing an unforgivable crime. Regarding this case, Yunnan Provincial Police ultimately issued their official conclusion. This was a typical case of someone who had failed in life, harboring a twisted psychology and resentment toward society, venting their desperation onto an innocent person. Yuqin was a truly good young woman. She was hardworking, kind-hearted, always striving to live seriously and decently, building her future step by step through her own efforts. Yet such a beautiful life proved fragile, leaving behind immeasurable regret and heartache for those who remained. In the face of this utterly cruel tragedy, the pain of those closest to her was almost beyond words. Fiancé Zhao Chao was consumed by torment and self-blame, endlessly regretting that at that fateful moment, he hadn't been by his girlfriend's side. For Yuqin's mother, the shock of losing her daughter nearly broke her. Both openly expressed that they couldn't accept the cruel reality of losing a loved one in such a painful manner. In her extreme grief, Yuqin's mother also decided not to file a civil lawsuit for compensation because no amount of money could bring back her daughter's life. Her only wish was that the murderer be severely punished according to the law, so that justice might somehow ease the enormous pain her family had to bear. According to media reports, after the incident, the victim's family formally requested that Yunnan Arts University bear corresponding responsibility and provide compensation. The family's reasoning was that Yunnan Arts University is located right within the Chunggong University district, a place where students, faculty, and visitors pass through every day. Around 4 p.m., when Yuqin was attacked, the area was by no means deserted. Yet a series of suspicious actions by the perpetrator, closing the shop, locking the door from inside, climbing through windows, coming and going multiple times, completely escaped detection or timely warning by the university's surveillance camera system. The victim's family argued that this couldn't simply be coincidence, but clearly reflected serious gaps in the university's security management. The incomplete and ineffective surveillance system had inadvertently created conditions for the criminal to commit his crimes at leisure, carrying out a series of brutal acts right on the school campus without being stopped. Additionally, reports indicated that after discovering Yuqin was missing, Zhao Chao proactively requested that the university provide access to surveillance footage to determine Yuqin's final whereabouts. However, this urgent request was rejected by the security department with the explanation that it required leadership signature approval. This procedural delay, in the eyes of the victim's family, may have caused the crucial window of time for search and rescue to be regrettably missed. Regarding the compensation request and demands for clarification of responsibility, the university has yet to provide a public, clear, or satisfactory response. Instead, they only indirectly communicated through Yuqin's workplace that the university will bear whatever responsibility it has. Such vague, non-committal statements not only failed to ease the family's pain, but also led public opinion to raise many questions about the sense of responsibility and attitude toward addressing failures after such a serious tragedy occurred right within an educational institution. The case occurred in 2018, and online records don't show information about the criminal being brought to justice. However, following standard Chinese judicial practice, it would be no surprise if Mu Kun was sentenced to death, and perhaps has already been executed. The tragedy that Zhang Yuqin endured is truly heartbreaking beyond words. It's cruelly ironic that in reality, many beautiful, gentle women full of dreams carry such tragic fates. This tragedy also serves as a stern warning to all women. In a complex and risky society, heightening awareness of self-protection must never be taken lightly. Whether day or night, going alone to secluded places with few people always carries unpredictable dangers. If possible, try to go with others, inform family members of your whereabouts, and maintain the highest level of vigilance. Society is like a painting with many colors, where good and evil, light and dark, always coexist. We can see a person's face, but we can never know what they're truly thinking inside. For this reason, caution in every action, every choice, is the most important shield for protecting oneself. And that concludes today's case. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.